Wasteland Coder here again. This time we're talking about the solid principles again. We've talked about single responsibility, open-closed, list-off, interface segregation. Today we're going to talk about dependency inversion. And no, this does not mean just using Spring. So, what is the definition? Basically, it's saying that high-level modules should not depend on implementations of low-level modules, and vice versa. Both should depend on abstractions, for example, interfaces. So the high-level modules depend on an abstraction, low-level modules or objects should depend on the abstraction. Usually those are the same abstraction, but from the interface segregation they don't necessarily have to be, I suppose. So if we take a look at an example of this, we have a file system, a very simple file system in our case. Here the interface just has two methods, open file and write file. This allows us to define some kind of file reader that takes a file system that it works on, and it reads a file just by opening it and then just getting the lines, apparently concatenating all of them into a string. And then if we look at our file system, this one, an implementation of our file system, this one is a local file system. It implements open file by just calling out to the system. Same with write file, just calling out to the system. And then we can also have a virtual file system for use in maybe a unit test or something like that. And so that we can have an in-memory set of files that's implemented in this case just by a map. And then our open file just gets the file out of the map. And then write file just puts the file in the map. And use the key, they use the name as the key. This will just let us swap out our file system without changing the reader. I suppose this way of doing things would also let us swap out a different reader as well. For example, one that gets a list of lines rather than just one single line, or streaming or something like that. These type of abstractions will let us swap out both sides just fine. And that'll do it for solid principles. Thanks. See you next time.